All right, so we'll get started here this morning. So this is going to be an informational session for our Ims Lending Library, what we currently have available for our public school districts here at IU13 to sign out. Our non-pubs can also sign them out at a small fee as well. And no matter who signs it out has to go through all the different trainings, which is basically how to unpack, use them, repack them up, sign them out, and return them. So the three things that we have available in our Ims Lending Library are the StarLab, the mobile device kits, and the Telepresence Robot. And you've noticed we've rebranded our Google Expedition kits to mobile device kits. Thanks, Google, for that one. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm an instructional technology specialist here at IU13. I spent 14 years in Donovan School District in elementary and the last 6 years as a K-12 instructional coach at Anvil, Cleona. So again, our three tools, we have the StarLab, which is our portable planetarium. We have two different kinds of StarLabs. So I will show both of those to you because depending on what's available, you may get one or the other. Our mobile device kits, which used to be our Google Expeditions kits. So those are Android devices and headsets. And newer to our lending library are the Telepresence Robots. And those are for homebound or hospitalized students. I like to call those the Sheldon bot. So if you've seen Big Bang Theory, if you're a fan at all, Sheldon drives those around through his campus when he is at home sick. So it's exactly what he uses in that show. So every time I see that, just think Big Bang Theory. All right, so our StarLab. So we have two different kinds of StarLabs. Our newer one is the one on the top there that has a front entrance that you can walk through. That one, the door opens, you walk straight into it. So it's not a duck and climb underneath one. And then we have three of our older style, which is the silver one down at the bottom, which has more of a crawl in gate to it. So the flap kind of opens up, you crawl into that. And I'm going to show that to you here in a minute. As part of our StarLab certification, all that means is you attend a training, you get a mark by your name so that you can sign these out and use them with teachers, use them yourself, however you want to do that. But you would be the point person for the StarLab, the person that would be delivered to whatever building you decide it would be delivered to, and for setup and for packing up, and then for returning it to the office of whatever the building is. And the IU does deliver it, and then the IU does pick it up as well. So for the certification that throughout the year, we offer multiple times, you can come in for that. I did state earlier that we are going to now combine all of these. So the StarLab, the mobile device kit, and the Telepresence will all be one training instead of separate trainings. So you come in at one time, get all three things done, and it's out of the way. The sign out process on our IMS resource page, there is a sign out for the StarLab. So you just put in the date that you would want it, what cylinders you would like, and then the date you would want to return it, fill that out. It arrives to the office of the building you sign it out for. And then you put it in the office. When you're done, they come and pick it up. So a little bit about the StarLab and what we have with our StarLab. So our current available kits, and again, all of this is in our IMS resource course. We added two new ones this year, the Navajo Sky and the Solar System and Galaxies. So those are two new ones for this year. We are going to be adding two new ones for next year, and hopefully adding a digital projector in the near future. But all 16 are the cylinders that are available. There's also StarLab lesson plans and teacher guides available through the StarLab website. And there's additional StarLab lessons available through another site that kind of breaks down lessons a little bit more in detail, and a progressive lesson. So just to kind of show you what these lesson plans look like. They are nice and neatly organized by cylinder. So you select the cylinder that you want. Once you select that cylinder, it's going to give you a printable page of lessons and activities that go along with that one. So it tells you everything that you would see in there, explains them so you have that information as you're going through and doing that one. There's a sample progression lesson. So if you're getting students who have never been inside a planetarium before at all, just kind of getting them in what the StarLab is, some sample expectations, and kind of brief lessons that walk them through the simulated sunset that's inside. You have your cardinal directions that are up inside of there as well, your north, south, east, and west, so you can point those out. It's great to set it up in the direction that the students actually look. And then it walks through the couple of different cylinders. One is the Greek mythology, which is more of a cartoon kind of drawings. The constellation one, which is more of a stick figure, so everything stays in the same location. And then the star field, which are just your general stars, and you can change that up and put some different phases of the moon in that one as well. So just a sample lesson, if anybody would want to use that for any part of that. As far as the StarLab itself, we'll share a short little video.
This short video will show you how to take the planetarium from
This is what will arrive
to this.
This is what we do in our
Start
training.
by removing the dome from the duffel bag and unrolling it onto a clean floor. You'll need a room that's at least 21 by 21 feet and a minimum ceiling height of about 11 feet.
And these are for
Take the fan from its case
StarLab.
and snap on the air tunnel.
The newer one hooks up a lot.
Next, inflate the dome on high fan speed. This should only
skip through. So the dome inflates on its own.
Once the dome is inflated, you can turn the fan down to low speed. This will prevent the dome from flapping around. Remove the projector from its case and carefully slide off the protective cover. Take out the cylinders from the second case and use it as a stand for your projector. Be careful of the bulb when placing a cylinder on the projector. The cylinder will snap on magnetically and fits right into a groove. Adjust the swivel to match your latitude. In Toronto, we're about to be kept closed.
You can see in this one, student
teachers should be the first one in and the last one out, keeping students and equipment safe.
And just to show you, that is kind of the Greek mythology one, where it looks like actual kind of cartoon drawing, so it makes it a lot easier to point out, like Orion and some of those. And then when you go to different cylinders, if you're looking at the star field, they all remain in the same position. So if you go to a constellation, Orion would remain in the same position. If you go to the star field, he would remain in the same position there, just a lot harder to find because it's not drawn out for them. And then as part of the training, the last part of that, we also look at during that training, the rolling up. And I will tell you, it is not as easy as they just made it look in that part there. Usually takes 3 or 4 times to kind of roll that thing up and get it set up. But the certification process is coming in, looking at the materials that you get, unpacking it from the beginning, setting up that cylinder with the projector, and then tearing it all down and packing it all up. So you walk through the exact same thing you would do when you get it at the district.
Keith,
Yes.
for the lesson plans that you showed us, do any of them have the audio that goes with the lesson plan? Because I know that some of the cylinders had audio that you could use the audio tapes.
Yes, all of those tapes come with the kit when you receive it.
But they're not available digitally beforehand.
Not yet at this time.
Okay.
Which you would think they would have that available digitally, but at this time it's not available through their website, which is something to look into to see if they have a way to get those. But that's a good point. So you do get cassette tapes along with these that you can play as you're looking through the things that are on there. So then it becomes finding a cassette player to play those. All right, so we'll move into the second one, our mobile device kits. So our mobile device kits have completely changed. They are Android devices, and the headsets or goggles that are inside of them, along with a router to hook up to the network at your district in order to use the devices. So the biggest change that's part of this is that Google Expeditions no longer exists, and neither does Tour Builder. So Google has replaced Expeditions with Arts and Culture, which we'll take a look at here in a minute. There's currently no replacement on Google's end for Tour Builder or any kind of VR, AR creation for students collaboratively like Tour Builder was set up to do. So part of that, and it goes kind of along with our device kit certification, again, the same time as all the other ones, it's unpacking them, using them, because now Expeditions could run off of a tablet, and you didn't need to connect to the devices to the internet in any way. Well, now that we have switched and Google has gone to arts and culture, you now need to have a web connection so that they can access the internet. So that router has directions that go with it. So those connection instructions, that router plugs in to your network at your district. There's information to give to your technology directors so that they can clear that router to pass through, and then the phones connect directly to that router. They're already pre-set up to do that, so you can access them. Sign out process is the same as the StarLab. There's a Google form on the page. You just fill out the date you want it and the date you want to return it. The kit arrives to you. So some of the biggest changes with Google Arts and Culture. So I don't know if you've looked into these before or not, but Google Arts and Culture, it looks nothing and works nothing like Expeditions. So Expeditions, you could choose an expedition to go on a virtual field trip with. You as the teacher could control it. The students followed along with you as you controlled that expedition. With Google Arts and Culture, there is no longer a teacher-controlled expedition. So students have to find what you want them to look for, and they have to have a self-guided tour. So you can no longer control or see what they're all looking at, doing, using. One change they did make with Arts and Culture is it can all be done through the web, whether it's through an iPad, whether it's through Chromebook. So you can go through the VR tours on the web versus using the headsets. So the headsets don't really play as much of a part into it. The phones will work as well, but they've cut down a lot on their expeditions that are available. So there's not nearly as many VR tours as there were before. And if you've used it for AR before, in order to find AR, you even have to search it directly or it's not on the main page. But AR, the Google AR, where you would bring up a little code, scan the code, and it would augment whatever you're looking for. Well, there are only a handful now of AR expeditions. You can see here there are only 5 of them. They work very similar to the way before, except you don't need those QR codes that you used with expeditions. You just need a space, and you have the phone out on that space, and it will show whatever you are looking at in that augmented reality. And again, during the certification, we take a look at it. So we'll put this up. So again, you can do it through the web, controlling it the same way you would as if you would walk around using it, but it is not like Expeditions. So if you're signing the kit out and expect to use Expeditions as it did before, that no longer exists. So hopefully Google will come out with something in the near future that works with that. If you are doing AR or VR tours or any kind of tours, Arts and Culture also uses Street View to do a lot of theirs. So you can walk through different areas around the world, museums. There are some templates that are elementary templates that can be printed out and given to use in the classroom. There's a primary, elementary example, and there's a secondary example with a template, kind of the see, think, wonder idea and what they're looking at. So those templates are also available to you for free. In place of that, we do have all of our Android device apps listed. So we have a list of all of our apps, a brief description of what those apps are, the subject areas they are for, and any additional notes. So you'll see, for example, Animals 4D. They have 4D cards that are required in order to show them. So it works very much like AR. The animal kind of pops up on the phone, off the device as you're looking through it. Anything that needs to be supplied will be supplied with the kit. So anything that's on here, so these animal 4D cards, there's some other ones for space. All of those cards will be provided with the kit. We are in the process of receiving all of those right now, but we will have all of them. So if there's anything in here that you're looking for specifically that says it requires, like merge cube is required in order to use this, those will be included with the kit if you sign the kit out. Anything else that's needed, some of them will use the headset, some of them won't use the headsets. So depending on what's needed for those are all in here as well. At any point, if you would want a specific app downloaded, you can just let us know. We will download any of the apps to the phone, push them out so that you can use them as well. So large list on here, and we're continuing to add it. A lot of what people were using before, we made sure to note those as well. Either they're no longer supported or they don't even work anymore, like Google Expeditions. Discovery Ed VR does currently work on the app, but they're not updating anything. And once it stops working, we'll have to pull that off. But some of the ones that have been removed that a lot of people are using are down here at the bottom. All of our current apps are up at the top. And again, you can always request more. And our last tool that we have available for our lending library, we have a lot of these. We just wrote a grant in order to get some more, and they all came in now when, not a lot of people are using them at this moment. But if your district has any homebound or hospitalized students, these are fantastic for that because they are more interactive than just a student being on Zoom. And these can be signed out for months at a time. So you might need this from January until June. It can be signed out for months at a time. So if this isn't a week long or 2 week long, you're not limited on any kind of time to sign these out. So the way the robot works, and I'll show you that here in a video, it works a lot like a Segway that you see driving around. The screens are already built into these. They navigate through space. You can control them manually. You can pick a spot. They will go to a spot. The person's face shows up here. They hold an iPad. So you would have an iPad. The student would have an iPad in their location. So for example, if they're a hospitalized student, they'd be in the hospital on a hospital bed with an iPad. This would be in a classroom, and they can navigate this through the school just like they would as if they were kind of there. So it allows them to go from classroom to classroom or move from place to place while they're in that hospital bed. So it adjusts it's a motorized adjustment. So through the app, they can adjust it up and down. They can adjust it forward and back to move around. And there's a little charging station here. When they get close to a charging station, they click park and it parks the robot for them. And that robot, and once it is parked, that's what will charge it as it sits in there. So you can see 4-hour battery, we've gotten more than 4 hours out of some of them. And a full recharge, you can see it takes 2 hours. But you can, if a student is using it, you can charge it, they can take it back out, charge it, take it back out as many times as they want. It doesn't affect the battery life that's in there. So how does the telepresence work? So the screen here on the left is as if you are looking through the head of the robot. So that robot that's on wheels, what you would see as they connect, you can see it lays the floor out. It's a smart driving machine. You can pick a location. It will drive itself to that location. If there is anything in the way on the floor, people walk in front of it, it automatically stops or it turns and moves around any objects in the way. So it uses those white dots that you see there as its navigation tool. So it knows when to move, when to stop, when to go around something so that it doesn't run into anything that's there. You can see here, it opened the door so you can see it can go into the door to the left. So you can manually control that, or you can click, it'll put a spot on the ground and it'll move it through. If it's something you think you might use or need sometime, you can sign this out for a few weeks to kind of play around with it, get used to moving it and using it and seeing how it works. And you can see, you can zoom in as well. So it just allows some different way to interact with the environment other than just using Zoom in that case. And the video over here on the right is going to show you a little bit about it.
Double is a remotely controlled mobile teleconferencing system that enables conversations to happen anywhere and anytime. It's the ultimate tool for telecommuting. To move around, Double uses a gyroscope and accelerometers, the same concept as a Segway. It's very stable and won't tip over easily. The self-balancing algorithm will correct itself and do its best to remain upright. You can change the height of your Double remotely to match the eye level of those you're interacting with. Double.
So it gives them a great way to interact in small groups without every student being on Zoom or something like that as well. So they can be part of that whole environment. And just to show you a little bit about the iPad feature. So you can control through the computer, through the iPad.
Goes directly from your Double to the driver and vice versa without being stored or recorded.
So all data is encrypted. So as they're using this, none of that is being used as part of that. So again, that's part of our device certification, all three of those. And the sign out works the same as the other two. You pick the date you want it and the date that you want to return it. And if it needs to be extended at any point, it can be extended. So if it's signed out for 2 months, you needed another month, you can extend that time. It doesn't have to be returned and signed back out. So all of those sign outs, updates, the whole lending library is all on our IMS blog page, which is where we also update all of the IMS product and content resources that we provide, such as BrainPop, Discovery Ed, Gale. All of those updates are provided in here. along with anything else that you can sign up for. So if you're looking to sign up for the certification, that'll be in here as well with all the dates that are part of that. All right, and that kind of wraps up what those 3 things are that you can come in for certification for, sign out, and use in your district. I'm going to stop the recording. And then if you have any